Hi, everybody. I am Julie Drake with the Shine with Julie show, and I help professionals gain clarity and joy by removing those unconscious blocks that keep them stuck. And I have with me today an amazing mindset guru, Heather Quisel. And Heather is a professional I met years ago, and she really digs in and helps people in relationship-driven businesses. And how she helps them is to build laser focus, and believe me, she is laser focused, build confidence and leadership skills that they didn't even know they had, so they can level up their business. She is a person who has developed a multi-million dollar direct sales business, as well as helped people build their own multi-million dollar businesses. So I am super excited to have Heather with us today. And I know I've given a brief introduction, Heather, but tell us a little bit more about you.
I mean, you really kind of nailed it on the head, but by way, it's always fascinating to me how people get into business and get into the work that they do. And I think some of the best things in life always just come from a willingness and a curiosity. I went to school to be an early childhood specialist in child psychology and children under the age of 8. And I got into business as a young mom when I found myself a stay-at-home mom. I loved it, but I also was under challenged. Yeah. And my first business venture was through network marketing. And I was just laser focused to figure out, I'm a high learner on the StrengthsFinder scale. And so I love learning new things. I love diving in deep when I choose the things that I dive into. And that was just a really good catalyst for me through young motherhood and in that period of my life to discover who I am, learn how to relate to people, learn marketing and sales. And it turns out I just eat that stuff up. So today, I have, let's see, I got started, that was 2010, 2011. And I just really love all things marketing and business and social media. And today I'm in a absolute personal development growth space, which we will all go through, those of us who are online solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, our personal lives absolutely kind of dictate the speed with which we move forward in business and how we reach people. And that's really where today, at this very moment, I'm really diving into the space of how we take care of ourselves in order to take care of other people.
That's a huge topic right now. I mean, most people are attuned to their health in ways like they have not been ever before. But like you said, it also has to do with taking care of this. It's not just our bodies. Our minds have such a powerful impact on everything that we do, how we show up as moms, as business owners, what we're giving out to the world. And one of those things, you came from a preschool setting as a teacher to, oh my goodness, entrepreneur. And now you're teaching people how to build their own voice in a world that is so cluttered. And one of the things I would love for you to share with us today is, it's so easy. You see it all the time, fake book. I'm going to just say it.
Yes.
But you as let alone a person, as a business owner, as a solopreneur, you're out there thinking everybody else is crushing it and you're just beginning and it's never going to happen because it happened for them and how there's no more space left or, all those things that run through your mind. So how do you coach your clients on, more of this? Tell me what that looks like.
Yeah, there's, when it comes to achievement in anything, there's talent and then there's mindset. Yeah. And mindset will eat the lunch of skill set any day of the week because you can have the talent, you can have the skills, but if you don't have the belief, if you don't have the confidence, if you don't have that track that runs in your mind that says, absolutely, we're going for it, like it makes it a lot harder. So the mindset game has always been like a space for me, because I don't know how everybody else is. I think I'm like a norm, but like I got that running mindset that's like, who do you think you are? Like, nobody's going to listen to you. Like, what makes you think that you can stand up here and say this? And like women like you don't earn six figures. Like, you don't belong in this room. And I was always fascinated by those thoughts. This goes back to like the child psychology. I'm like, I know where that comes from, and here it is, I'm a 40-year-old woman still having some of these thoughts. And so the things that I really focus on when I'm coaching and working with women is, number one, we got to find out, like, where did those thoughts come from? And really before that, it's the awareness. Like, you have to be able, it's like catching it. Like I noticed that thought. Mm-hmm. And then like you grab it and you run it through a filter. Like, is this even true? Like, where did this thought come from? And a lot of times it comes from our parents. It'll come from our culture, our society. Like, where did this come from? And then like, do I want to believe this today? And if it's not true for you, it wasn't even your thought in the first place. It came from somewhere else and you don't want to believe it. Then we start rewriting. And this is a process that is like, how do you learn how to dribble a basketball, Julie?
Yeah.
You just smack it and smack it and smack it until you start getting rhythm. And it's the same thing for reprocessing, reprogramming, replanting new thoughts in your brain. And that is how you build confidence. That's how you build belief. That's how you build a mindset that allows you to, like, I don't really know what I'm doing here, but I'm willing to figure it out. I'm willing to fail. I'm wondering what would happen what if I did figure it out and I ran with it? Like, could I be a woman that makes six figures? Like, what would that feel like? And that is, it's really the awareness of, and being able to capture that thought and then being really deliberate, because the negative, I'll call it narrative or like thought process that we all have. Who are you? Who are you to think you can do that? You lazy girl. Like, those thoughts, unfortunately, they happen without any effort. Like, that's just in us, I think, as humans. But the choice to take those and go, no, I'm going to put this one in instead. Like, that's real enlightenment. And that's where our power comes in. And that takes intention, and it takes purpose. And it takes like a constant dedication and commitment to capturing those and putting a new thought in.
Right. I mean, and you can't let up. I mean, I love that you shared that, because, you heard it. She is already a multi-million-dollar earner, but yet she still has those moments, So Heather, it just proves that new level, new devil, right? You have this success and then you want to level up. And then there's something else that comes in and it's like, no, you don't have what it takes. And it's awful. But, that is unfortunately human nature, but there's tools. You don't have to stay stuck there. And I love that you shared that, because that was going through my brain. Has she always just had it that easy? She's always been this confident, but no. And I think that it's so helpful. And, one of the things I want to share with people real quick is something an exercise that you took us through. I believe it was in a challenge where we had to write a letter to ourselves, and you held on to the letter and then you mailed it to us. And it was really like, where do you want to be at X time in the future? And what do you want that life to look like? And when I got my letter back, those thoughts were raging for me. Don't open it. You haven't done anything. You're not going to want to read it. And I sat it in a drawer. I did not read it right away. And then finally I pulled it out. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to rip it off. I'm going to see what it says. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did some of these things. I'm so excited. So it's like, but you have that moment where those lies come in and it's just torture. So You know,
I
one
want
of
to
the,
I want to pause right there for a
yeah,
second if we can, Julie, because I want to for those that are listening here, I want to give them some context of this letter, because in this challenge that you're talking about, Level Up Your Goals challenge, I help people uncover what it is they really want, and we're usually pretty fooled into thinking and believing that we want what everybody tells us we want.
yes.
And then I give you a series of tools to help you create the future, the feeling, and create the reality of the goals that you have. And one of the things that I have my clients do, and this is what you're describing, is write a letter to your future self that you will read a year from now. And so you sat down and you wrote a letter to yourself, anticipating
Yes.
the achievement, the feelings, the things that you wanted in the future. And then I hold on to that for a year. And for many people, it's a surprise, like, oh, I forgot that I wrote this letter to myself. And what you're describing is really normal. Like, oh crap, I don't think I am anywhere near where I thought I was going to be. And now I got to open this letter and be reminded that I'm not, in fact, doing the things I thought I would do. And then you open it up like many people do, and you realize I have made progress.
It
I
was,
have made progress from that woman who wrote this a year ago.
it
That's
was a true
incredible.
gift at the time. I do have
Yeah.
to say it was really a gift I needed at that moment. Now, you just said something very interesting that I want to build on a little bit. And you said, help people find out what they want versus what other people have told them that they want.
Mhm.
You know, you right now, you sent out an email, beautiful email, just not too long ago that you are looking at yourself right now and who am I in this next season, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And talk to us a little bit about what does that look like? Because you do have friends, you do have family, and they love you. They think they're helping when they tell you what they think you should do.
Mhm.
And what does that look like for that woman that, you know, has something in here or something in here that they know they want to do, but nobody else sees it? What does that look like?
You know what I think happens more often, Julie, is that people are following a path because that's what it seems I should want to do. But they're like, but I'm just so stuck, and I take all these challenges, and I'll start something and I'll be really eager, but then it all falls. I can't get motivated. I can't get organized. I take all the classes, I read all the books, and like, I just hear this more often than not. Like, I can't get it together.
Mhm.
And you know what that actually is? You're going in somebody else's direction. So your body is like,
Resistance.
this resistance is like your body's signaling you you're going in somebody else's direction, and the body's trying to like get your attention, like, hey girl, hey, like before you go anywhere, like we don't even want to be here, but yet we cling to it because like, but my, like, we'll use network marketing for it. Like, this is where I want to be, where these leaders are. Like, they have these wonderful lives. Yeah, you want that wonderful life, but maybe this isn't the path to get there. Or people tell you like, you need to earn six figures because like, but like, there's a billion different routes to get there, and you're like you're forcing yourself down a track to get there that isn't the track for you. And that's why the work of like actually getting to what you truly want isn't easy, because we have all this noise and very few people know how to ignore it and like really, really, truly allow your truth to come out. Allow yourself to dream, and then allow yourself. My son came home for lunch. Allow yourself the honor of actually pursuing when you don't know the outcome.
Yes.
And what I'm doing at the moment, I am like all humans. I'm in a place where like I am in a transformation. Who I was is not, I'm not her anymore. It's just like your letter. You're not the woman that wrote that letter a year ago. But I also have been down a track in my career and in my service as an entrepreneur that I no longer can go down. I've had a massive life change. And this, like, my body is screaming, girl, this isn't your path anymore. And so, like, when we've got social media and this presence online that has put you on this track, and this is where everybody expects you to be.
Right.
What do you do when everything is telling you to go somewhere else? It feels so much harder because what will people think? This is where I've always been. This is what people know me for. If I go down this other track, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose followers. People are going to say, what are you doing? People are going to question you. And so we tend to think we're stuck here. And so as I'm in this personal, like, I'm going in a different direction. I have been very purposeful in doing it out loud because I recognize it is scary, and I'm scared of it every single day. But if I don't do it, I'm never going to be in integrity with who I actually am, and I'm never going to actually get where I want to go. And so I recognize being a mentor and being a coach, like, there's value in showing other people, like, I don't know where I'm going actually, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm just going to start talking this other thing and allow it to take shape without thinking it has to be polished and finished now. Because real, true transformation, it takes time. It's a process. You don't just go from here and change your mind and you're perfectly polished and you've got it all together and you've got your message and you've got your bio and your your profile looks great. Your website looks great. Right now, wherever you look that has Heather Quisel's name on it, it all looks very different. None of it's congruent because I'm in the transformation. And that's what I really hope to encourage people to do, especially in this online world, social media space. Let go of the metrics. Let go of how things look. Let go of your own vanity and allow yourself to be somebody who's exploring a new version of yourself.
Absolutely. And I think that will bring so much value to your followers, to the people you coach currently, because they will see that. They will see that courage. And, perseverance and courage are two words I think of when I think of Heather.
Thank
I've
you.
seen you in so many ways through it all. So you have a family, you're there in the trenches. How do you work your life around your family to be that, successful businesswoman, but still that wife and mom?
You know what it is? It is mastering boundaries. It really, truly is. It's mastering boundaries. And when I say master, that doesn't mean perfection, but really understanding what's most important, which requires a heavy dose of no. I know people a lot. I know people a lot. And for me and my family, there is a rhythm to our home that's really important to me. For instance, I no longer do nights and weekends. I no longer do nights and weekends. And I also no longer allow my children to interrupt my work. Now, my children are older. I'm not diapering. I'm not feeding, and things like that. But really, for my husband, for my children, and really for anybody I serve, I'm very, very deliberate in when I work, how I work. And I stick to that because I know my rhythms now. Like, I know, like, my method of working. Like, if you were here, Julie, if you or anybody else were here on like a work day for me, which is any day my husband and children are out of the house, it doesn't look like work. And and this is something for all of us, like, as we work from home and now, our kind of COVID landscape has really kind of fast tracked people in that, put a lot more people in that space. There's a mindset to work from home too, because I was raised that, like, work is something other people can see. Other people can see you working hard. You're sitting at the computer for hours a day, right? Or you're like physically like making something that people can see every day. My work looks like an hour in the bathtub first thing in the morning, 3 cups of coffee on the couch with my face in a phone or a device in which nobody can see what I'm producing. And a lot of what I'm producing is just working on peace, harmony, and integrity in myself. But then, you know, we're creating content, which is inside of a computer and it's not released, you know, except once a day. And there's a lot of creating content that never gets released. And really learning that, like, this is what it looks like to do my kind of work. And learning to like honor what is the process to writing an email. You know, you've talked about this email I sent out. Like, what does it actually look like to produce that email? Because it's not just sitting down and writing it in 5 minutes and closing up shop. Like, you know, there's an uncovering, and there's a struggle, and there's a redraft, and the, you know, and how that looks to other people when we're computer virtual social media entrepreneurs. Nobody else can see what we're producing.
Yeah.
And that's really, really interesting. And it does often look like scrolling.
You're just on your phone. You're just playing around.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Right? Dude, I just scrolled TikTok for 2 hours this morning, and I promise you it was research.
Or your kids say, you're just always sitting down. You're just always laying around. What do you do?
And this is something for moms out there, and even for wives. I've had a couple things that I've done that have been really helpful. I've tried to utilize, like, I have a phone, an iPad, and a computer. Mm-hmm. Dude, when mom's face is in that computer, you do not talk to her for any reason. Because, like, this is creative flow. This is sacred to me. If I'm on my phone, you can probably interrupt me. Chances are pretty high. But I've had to then learn, like, phone for personal, computer for work, so that there's a visual cue for the family members around me to know when I'm working versus just like on social media like everybody else, right?
Yeah. I've often thought I need to, like, do not disturb panel. Do not disturb.
Yeah, but that's been really helpful. It's been really helpful because, you know, having those cues, it just doesn't like, oh, mom's at work, you know, she's at the office away from the house. Like, we don't have that anymore. And so what are the physical cues that we can create in our environment so that the people, and then, like, what are the boundaries you put up with the people that you live with? And so that we can actually work and play in the same home. That's been a challenge.
I'm guessing that your family is more comfortable with those boundaries and those limits because you also give them that sacred time. Like you said, you give them your nights, you give them your weekends. So, you know, it's not that you're saying, don't disturb me here, but I'm not going to give you over here, you know? So it's
really interesting. So in my world, in our world right now, as it is, my children go to school 4 days a week, and the 5th day is at home, and that's Mondays. So it was cute as yesterday, and this is like every morning. My youngest, Callahan, she's 13. She's like, this is a Monday morning. It's a school day for her. She says to me, what are we doing today? This is like almost every Monday. And I'm like, well, I am going to work, and you are going to school. And it's weird to say that because neither one of us are going physically anywhere.
Yeah.
But helping my children remind, and like COVID was a wake up for them because suddenly, like, they didn't really think I worked. Like, they never saw right? And my husband too. I'm like, dude, look, I'm sorry you got time off because of COVID, but like, this is what it looks like when you all leave the house. And I need to have some sense of this because I can't just take time off because the rest of you, like, are COVIDing.
Yes, and they're all coming into your sacred space, right? The whole house was your space for a long time. And now it's like, they're here all the time.
And so it's like a constant redefinition. What works for me now? What works for you now? How do we work together in this space? And this is whether COVID or not. Like, the way that we work and live in our home and define it, like, it's really up to you because we don't have traditional jobs anymore. I just made something up. I literally, and I'm sure you find this too. Somebody says, what do you do? And I'm like, how do I describe that? Like, I live and breathe on social media and I make money there. Like, you know, we have totally made up income streams. We've totally made them up and nobody can see it So like traditional people don't get it. And that the challenge for us as non-traditionals in the workspace is you define what it looks like, and then you set up the boundaries for the people around you so that we can make it all work.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that you are a business guru. You really have that all. I just cannot say enough about that and your success that you continue to walk in. It's not just you talk about it, you show it. What about Heather in personal life? Tell me one huge accomplishment that comes to mind outside of business that defines who you are.
Okay, like all the emotion comes up. So I am a wife and widow.
Mm-hmm.
I lost a husband in 2018, and I am a wife again. And one of my biggest accomplishments, I'm still accomplishing, but that is life after loss.
Mm-hmm.
And recreating life after life I know was obliterated. Mm-hmm. And I have 3 children and a 4th bonus child in my remarriage. And I will say, I know this for sure, my biggest personal accomplishment is leading my children successfully out of grief. And what I mean by successfully is we have loss, but it's not defining us. Right. My children don't have their father, but they're not limited because of that. And it's not who they are. It's a part of their life experience. And today, my children are whole and thriving and happy and incredible people. And when you talk about leading, as a leader, as a mentor, as a coach, as a guru, which please use that term loosely, the greatest leadership challenge I have ever had is leading myself and my children through grief. Mm-hmm. And as a woman making the choice to love again, and rebuilding a new life, and being open to that with somebody new, huge accomplishments. Not easy, not finished, definitely not finished. Mm-hmm. But that's where like the choice to remain curious and open and willing to allow life to change you, because it will, I think in some strange way has become a lot of my life purpose. Showing people like you're not special because life is changing. You're not special because you're struggling. You become special in what you choose to do with it.
Absolutely. I was in your challenge at the time that you lost your husband. And I distinctly remember how you showed up. And I prayed for you so many times. So I'm like, she is just there. I'm going to cry. You were just there for everybody that needed you. And I was like, wow, that said a whole lot about you as a person, about I said perseverance earlier, but it is a journey, and you showed that journey to everybody around you in such grace. And it really was amazing. And so, Heather, it has been just fantastic to talk to you today. And I want to pop up your website here because I want people to know how to connect with you. You have so many different ways that you help people. Yeah. And here's your website that's popping up down here, and maybe share some other ways that people can find you.
Yeah, my website is like, this is where you're going to see business Heather, like that. Yep. and definitely Heather before massive life transformation. And so there are a couple places you can find me, and they are in transition. So business, you can find me right there. I have adopted Instagram as a space to work through people who understand loss, grief, depression, anxiety, struggling through loss of identity and choosing to live. And that's so Instagram for really that space of like the personal side of life. And of course, I'm on Facebook as well. So awesome. Hope that I can serve your audience in one or more ways.
I have no doubt. And for those of you that have tuned in today, I thank you so much. And remember always that you are a special gem and you deserve to shine. Thanks so much. Bye.
Thanks, my friend, for having me.